Stan Lee once said, "I used to be embarrassed because I was just a comic book writer, while other people were building bridges or going on to medical careers." And then I began to realize entertainment is one of the most important things in people's lives. Without it, they might go off the deep end. Today, I will review the history of comic books and the evolution of the medium over time. The main points I will be covering are the pre-comic book world, the Gold, Silver, and Bronze Ages, the Dark Age, and the Modern Age. First off is the pre-comic book world, which arguably begins with Greek mythology. There are multiple parallels between the comic book medium and Greek mythology. For example, the sidekick, the damsel in distress, and the dark and tragic hero. Superman and Hercules both have incredible parallels. Fast forward to 1897 with The Kid in McFadden's Flats, the first literary work bearing the name comic book. Decades later, we begin to see the golden age of comic books from 1938 to 1956. This was the peak of comic books and occurred during the Second World War, with the rise of heroes such as Superman, Batman, Captain America, the original Human Torch, and Namor the Submariner, to name a few. The Silver Age ran from 1956 to 1970 and began with Frederick Wortham's book, Seduction of the Innocent, which insinuated that comic books promoted anti-Christian and anti-American values and worried Congress to the point that they established the Comics Code Authority, which heavily restricted the material allowed in comics. This directly led to comics becoming more outlandish and kid-friendly and influenced the 1966 Batman TV show. Marvel's more influential characters, such as Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Avengers, and the Fantastic Four, are created during this time. To finish off this period of comic prosperity, we have the Bronze Age, from 1970 to 1985. This was when a younger generation of writers took over the industry, with them coming a loosening of the Comics Code Authority's standards. The Bronze Age arguably began with the death of Peter Parker's girlfriend, Gwen Stacy, as it led to comics becoming more serious once again. This area was also a time for greater representation of reality. Serious themes like racial persecution and drug use were touched on, and with this came a more diverse set of characters such as Storm, Black Lightning, and Jon Stewart's Green Lantern. Next, we have the Dark Age, from 1985 to 1996. This began with Marv Wolfman's Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was meant to completely reboot DC's canon, getting rid of the confusing tone shifts from 3 different eras in the medium, and clearing up multiple plot inconsistencies. The era was also a time for anti-heroes with stories like The Watchmen and The Dark Knight Returns, changing the public perspective on superheroes. It was also the fall of many heroes. Superman died at the hands of Doomsday, Batman's back was broken, being replaced by the high-tech, insane Azrael, and Hal Jordan's Green Lantern became a merciless killer. Finally, we have the Modern Age, from 1996 to the present. This began with Mark Waid and Alex Ross's Kingdom Come, which heavily criticized the Dark Ages tropes and brought back elements from the previous ages. Allegorical to postmodernism, blending elements of previous ages and the Dark Age. The current state of the comics industry is heavily influenced by major Hollywood productions, changing entire characters based off of their depictions in cinema, especially with companies such as Marvel. To review, the 4 most notable points in comic book history are the pre-comic book world, the Golden, Silver, and Bronze Ages, the Dark Age, and the Modern Age. Today we reviewed the many eras in comic book history, while touching the most notable changes in the medium's tropes and trends. Stan Lee was originally embarrassed to admit he was a writer for comics, but over time he came to realize the important role that entertainment plays in people's lives, and the massive size of the medium he was acting as a pioneer in.